a trip to the championship on the line right here. Happy you all are along with us on the WWPA Sports Network. For Biola, Gavin McKenzie, the WWPA first team member, Caleb Hernandez, the second team member, Joshua Dockenhausen, a honorable mention in the all-conference team this year. Adam Lavoie, a member of the all-defensive team, and Noah Risnar, a member of the all-freshman team. Noah Risnar, he was one of those big keys for Biola, with Noah Risnar getting that goal to tie it, and also a come-from-behind victory as well for Biola. Risnar got that goal to tie with 2:50 left. Then about 40 seconds later, the game-winning goal that went to Kyle Siphon. Siphon, the redshirt junior, was able to get the goal, the game-winning goal for Biola for the 15-14 victory. And on the other side for Gannon, a lot of their key pieces. For the Golden Knights, Alexandros Kotskar, the first team member for Gannon, Victor Verlant and Bator Mahalchi, the second team members, as Mahalchi looking to see if he will indeed be getting the start in goal for the Golden Eagles, and it seems he most certainly will. The honorable mentions, Pator, Markovic, and Nick Forrest, Lenzettis, the honorable mentions for Gannon, and Victor Verlant, also a member of the all-defensive team for Gannon. A trip to the championship match on the line. Gannon, in year number 3 as a member of the WWPA, looking to make it to the WWPA championship match for the first time in their history. And Biola, they look to make it back to the championship match for the first time since 2023. And it will indeed be Bator Mahalchi in net for Gannon. And on the other side, it is going to be Joshua Dockenhausen once again, the hero from the quarterfinal matchup against Salem yesterday. Happy you all are along with us for this WWPA semifinal contest. The winner will head to the championship tomorrow. They're all on the line. We are ready for the start with the opening sprint. And everybody is racing on down, and the ball is in the pool, and we are off in the semifinal match. And Biola is going to start off with the first offensive possession. Isaac Dembski towards the middle, a lot of traffic. Demerit trying to win it back for Gannon. And another whistle with Biola still keeping possession. Six seconds to shoot. Another whistle as the ball was being controlled by Hernandez. And they shoot, and it is denied. A big stop for the sophomore out of Hungary, Mahalchi. And the first offensive possession on the way for Gannon. Gannon in the black caps and the white caps for Biola. First offensive possession for Gannon. Kotskar sending it off with time running out, and it is going to be Dockenhausen with the grab as both teams come up empty on their first offensive possessions of the match. Dembski towards the middle, and a whistle, trying to feed it off to Gavin McKenzie. And McKenzie has it, and it is going to be denied by Mahalchi. But because of it, Biola still keeps possession. Dembski back into the middle. And in front, and the chance, a lot of pressure put on by Gannon. It was Dylan Shaw. And Gannon regains control. Mateusz Zajacic was leading it up for the Golden Knights. Zajacic has it again. Out to the far side. Zajacic with 4 seconds to shoot, running out of time. Kotsgar trying to get a shot. He had a lot of pressure by Dembski. And Kotsgar, it is going to skip high and out of play. Dockenhausen getting a piece of it. There's Siphon, another whistle. Still not a goal inside in the opening 2 minutes of this semifinal game. And the Eagles trying to change that. McKenzie looking to fire. And a pass near the 2-meter line. Dembski. And a shot. It is off of the post. McKenzie taking it. And Gannon taking it back the other way. It'll be led up by Kotsgar. Zajacic fires off of the crossbar. It's going to pop into the air, and it's going to result in a breakaway chance for Biola. Dembski waiting for his teammates to get back. Hernandez sending it off, and they score! Isaac Dembski. Biola strikes first. Dembski, he had a goal yesterday, and he gets the first one of this game. Gannon still looking to get on the board as we approach the 3-minute mark of the first period. Zajacic, the freshman out of Serbia. Hands it off, Kotsgar, and a foul. Towards the middle, passing it back. Valant, right hand, trying to push it off into the middle, but Markovic cannot get up towards the ball. The defensive pressure pays off for Biola. And Dockenhausen hands it off to Siphon. Some open space for Hernandez, who looks to fire. Back towards the middle. 9 seconds to shoot, and what a stop from Mahalchi. Denying the chance to Siphon, the hero from yesterday for Biola. Or that is actually going to be number 22. That's Alec Abrahamian, a grad student out of Glendale, the Redlands transfer. And I believe there was a yellow card that was just put into the pool. Well, the referee on the far side having the yellow card, and that is indeed the case. That's going to go against Kotsgar. So a yellow card, something we have not seen yet in this tournament. And it's going to go against Kotsgar, one of those key pieces for Gannon. A turnaround shot off of the crossbar. McKenzie can't send it home. Valant controls of the 6-meter with the right hand, trying to push on down, and everybody goes towards the ball, and it's going to be picked up by Dockenhausen. And Biola has it back, ahead 1-0. And there's Siphon, the hero from yesterday for Biola, getting the game-winning goal. And towards the middle off of the crossbar, trying to feed it to Hernandez. But they keep Hernandez again. He's got it. 2-0 Biola. The second chance opportunity pays off for the senior. And Caleb Hernandez. And a timeout on the pool. Caleb Hernandez, a member of the second team this year. And the number 1 seed from the East, still trying to get on the board. The semifinals from last year were Concordia taking down Gannon 14-9, and Salem taking down Biola. So both teams that lost in the semifinals last year are squaring off here with a trip to the championship on the line. And Zarko Sadakovic trying to rally his boys still early in this one, obviously. The former player for Gannon. And on the other side, Jens Kuhl in year number 1. He played for Pepperdine. Taking over for Rick Nordell, who was the coach for Biola when they won the championship in 2023. Biola taking out Concordia 18-12. So play resumes. The full timeout called by Marko Zadakovic. A 2-0 lead for the number 2 seed out of the West. And play resumes with Mahauchi. Gannon still trying to get on the board. Sajacek, the pass to Farshong. Towards the middle, and it is going to be another turnover. It was forced by Adam Lavoie. Abrahamian. Back to Lavoie. He waits, he fires, he is going to get it into the net, but it does not count. As Lavoie was firing that away, it went past Mahauchi. Now Markovic. Kotsgar into the middle. Can Gannon get on the board here? That popped into the air. Markovic with the shot, and Lavoie getting a piece of it. As the number 1 seed from the East fails there to get on the board. Abrahamian has all kinds of room. Back to Lavoie. Lavoie waits. Abrahamian, 10 to shoot. Abrahamian fires, and a big stop for Mahauchi. Zajacic was on coverage for Gannon. Since it went off Mahauchi, another chance for Biola with a fresh shot clock. And Digby to Lavoie. Ivan to Cash. Now Lavoie. Short pass. Pressure by Valant. And that is going to be swatted out. The quick grab by Zajacic. And a reset and a whistle as Lavoie has to give the ball back. Our officials for this match are Chad Parker and David Mays. Ten seconds to shoot for the Eagles. Lavoie into the middle. Reznar, another pass for the shoot. And it's going to rattle off of the post. Abrahamian cannot cash in. Gannon trying to get on the board right here. The catch. Markovic at the 2-meter line with 13 seconds to shoot and a whistle. And Gannon trying to get on the board on the power play. As Valant has to send the ball back to the referee on the far side. Victor Valant, the sophomore out of France. Or Victor Valant, excuse me. As Valant waits with $1:30 remaining until we move to the second quarter. A power play for Gannon as they try to get on the board right here. Back towards the middle. Farshong slides it far side. Back to Farshong. Hesitates, 13 to shoot. Back into the middle, they fire off of the crossbar. Lenzetis can't find it. Farshong, but a reset. Kotsgar. Kotsgar has it back again. Trying to feed it off into the middle towards Markovic. And the pressure was just enough for Abrahamian, and possession back to Biola with under a minute to play. Until we move to the second. To Cash. Now Digby. Back to Lavoie. He waits. 8 the shoot, lets it go, and it is going to be into the back of the net again. But that is another goal that will not count for Biola. And Mahauchi. Up ahead. Kotsgar. Pressure by Biola on the far side. The bang leak. And they let it go, and that is going to be skipped in to get Gannon on the board. Lanzides. And with 23 seconds left, until we move to the second, Biola gets on, or Gannon gets on the board. Still a 1-goal lead for Biola. And a handful of Biola fans making the trip from Southern California. Biola trying to counter with 10 seconds. Will it be a 1-goal game as we move to the second? A chance and a whistle as it was controlled by Kevin Slack. And 1 second, and Mahauchi's going to fire a Hail Mary shot that goes high, and a low-scoring affair to kick off our first semifinal game, a 2-1 lead for the Eagles. Biola finishing off overall play 9-20 and 4-2. A chance at the #1 seed, but the big key was that loss to Concordia. And they also lost to Fresno Pacific in their last 2 WWPA games of the regular season until they did defeat UC Merced 16-11. And Gannon finishing off overall play 13-9 and 3-1 in WWPA play. Gannon defeating Salem at the Bearcat Clash in Illinois 21-15. And then they beat McKendree by 1, 15-14, but they would lose to McKendree at the Salem Invitational on October 25th, but Gannon was able to bounce back to defeat Salem 28-22, and that was enough for Gannon to take the east side of the WWPA standings. Gannon in year number 3 as a member of the conference. Biola, they have been a member since 2021. Defeating Fresno Pacific in the first round in 2021, but they will lose to UC Davis in the quarterfinals. And then in 2022, Fresno Pacific defeating Biola in double overtime in the quarterfinals, but everything changed in 2023 when Biola, they took down Mercyhurst in their first game of the quarterfinals. They would defeat McKendree in the semifinals, and they would take down Concordia to win their first and only WWPA championship. Biola looking for a repeat last year. They defeated McKendree in the quarterfinals, but they could not get past Salem, losing to the Tigers 19-18. Biola would defeat Gannon in the third place game last year out in Concordia. Biola, of course, looking to change that this year as they look for WWPA title number 2, and Gannon looks for their first ever Western Water Polo Association Championship. And Gannon also trying to win the championship as the host school for this year's tournament. We're about an hour away from Erie at the SPIRE Aquatic Center in Geneva, Ohio. As we move along into the second quarter. And a 2-1 lead for the number 2 seed out of the West. Biola making the long trip from Southern California. as we move to the second. Gannon getting that last goal that went to Lenzitas. And the opening sprint is underway to begin the second quarter with a 2-1 lead for Biola. And it is going to be won by Gannon. Lenzitas getting the sprint for the Knights as they look to tie. Zajacic and a whistle as he tried to send a pass to Farsong. And Farsong has to give the ball back to the official on the far side. Farsong, the sophomore out of Hungary. A lot of international players represented for Gannon. Got Hungary, Serbia, the Bahamas, with Dominic Demerit. In Serbia, the home country is Zarko Zadakovic. In Hungary with Farsong and Mahalchi. Also got France with Matthew Bordy and Victor Valant. Also Greece with Nikforos Lanzitas. And also Kotskar, he also hails from Greece. So a lot of international talent for this Gannon squad this year. Kotskar. Farsong. Gannon trying to tie it. 11 seconds to shoot. Into the middle. Was trying to feed it into the middle to Shaw. And another defensive stop for Biola. Applying the pressure was Demski. Now it's controlled by Seifert. It was the hero for Biola yesterday. Into the middle, they shoot, they score! 3-1 Biola. Adam Lavoie. Biola leads by 2 again. Zajacic tries far side to Farsong. Back towards the middle, Farsong, and it is going to be picked up by Dockenhausen. And Siphon to Lavoie. Another defensive stop for the Eagles. As the #1 seed out of the East finding themselves in a little bit of trouble. Biola trying to go ahead by 3 right here. Siphon, right hand, finds Demski. 7 seconds to shoot. Demski, left hand, back towards the middle. Lets it go. Siphon's got it. 4-1 Biola. Cal Siphon. Getting the game-winning goal for the Eagles yesterday, and he gets goal number 4 for Biola. And Dylan Shaw controls for Gannon. As the East side tries to keep the championship once again. After Salem took it last year. But the only chance for the East is with Gannon, and they are down by 3. Farsong. Wade trying to send it off. Dylan Shaw and a whistle and a foul against. Oh, Shaw's got it on the exclusion. Dylan Shaw, 4-2. The sophomore out of Salt Lake City. Total of 45 goals for the sophomore coming into this game. And Dylan Shaw getting the chance in front on the exclusion against Lavoie. Siphon leading it back for the Eagles. Can Gannon come up with a defensive stop? Slack. Siphon moves it to the corner and a foul. Risnar back out the Siphon. And push it back towards the middle. 7 seconds to shoot. The loft to the 2-meter line, and Gannon gets the stop they were looking for. Zajacic applying the pressure. Mahalchi throws it over, and a big stop for Dockenhausen. Gannon taking it back in transition immediately as Valant cannot get it within 1. There's Siphon. Risnar to the middle, trying to fire a penalty shot. Drawn by Murray. And Biola with a chance to go ahead by 3 again. Caleb Hernandez. He will take it. One v one with Mahouchi. He makes the save. Oh ho ho! What a stop for Mahouchi. And a stop the other way for Dockenhausen. The goalie's coming up big on the last 2 offensive possessions. Slides it across, trying to get it back towards the middle, and it is going to be a goal for Gavin McKenzie. And it's 5-2 Biola. Gavin McKenzie, the first team player for the Eagles. Lanzitas finds the J-check. Victor Valant. Valant slides it to J-check. Towards the middle, trying to find Markovic. And another turnover for Biola. Noah Risnar with the turnover. And that's the key reason why Biola has a 3-goal lead. They have been able to force stops. And a whistle as Digby has to give the ball back to the ref on the far side. And there's an exclusion against Gannon. Seems it went against Farshaw. And a double exclusion, as a matter of fact. A double exclusion. And it goes against Digby on the other side for the Eagles. Lavoie into the middle, trying to fire with McKenzie. Abrahamian trying to race up to the ball, and Gannon gets a defensive stop. Valant applying the pressure. And Mahouchi finds a man on the far side off of his head. Farshaw. There's Valant. Towards the middle. Lazitas. Now Valant. Lanzitas again. Love at the 2-meter line. Trying to get away. It's Farshaw, and an exclusion on the way against Biola. So Gannon trying to capitalize on the power play. Farshaw Valant into the middle, and then it's going to knock off of the crossbar with the shot to Lanzetis. They feed it far side, and Farshaw's got it! 5-3. Ramon Farshaw, the sophomore out of Hungary, gets goal number 3 on the board for Gannon. With 3:26 remaining in the second period. And a sub coming in for the Eagles. So the control by Risnar. Risnar still holds. Trying to send it back to the inside. Reznor, the slide at the 5-meter. Lavoie, 8 to shoot. Back towards the middle, a rejection! Oh, rebound chance, that goes off the crossbar! 2 chances for Biola, shut down by Gannon. Lanzidis trying to race on up, a penalty shot! Drawn by Lanzidis against Reznor. And who's going to take it for Gannon with an opportunity to get the Knights back within 1? Lanzidis. It's a stop, Dockenhausen! Joshua Dockenhausen, another big stop. He had to save yesterday when Salem had an opportunity to tie it with under 30 seconds. And he comes up big to keep the 2-goal lead for Biola alive. Lavoie getting swarmed. And he hands it off at the 6-meter line. 7 seconds to shoot. Now 4 seconds. Letting it go, a rejection. And back the other way for Gannon. That was Banglink, excuse me. Trying for the shot, but he ran out of time. Farsong. Lanzidis into the middle and a whistle as they tried to send it to Markovic. As McGarry picking it up, and a timeout is going to be called by Marko Zadakovic. With 1:56 left in the second period. Five stops for Mahalchi and 3 for Dockenhausen. And a timeout with 1:56 remaining in the second. We'll have our next semifinal game coming up next. It's going to be Concordia and Fresno Pacific. As Concordia tries to make it back to the championship match for the 3rd year in a row. Losing to Biola in 2023 and then losing to Salem in their home pool last year. And they go up against Fresno Pacific, the most senior program in all of the WWPA. They have been a member of the conference since 2015, and they are going to be playing in their first ever WWPA semifinal match coming up next. And the winner of that game will face the winner of this one. Off the timeout. Mahalchi at the midline. And off the tie-up, or the timeout, I should say. Farsong, he keeps into the middle. "14 seconds to shoot. Past the 2-meter line. Back out. Farsong gets another rejection for Dockenhausen. Dockenhausen drives the ball forward all the way to the other 5-meter line. Mahalchi coming out of the crease to make sure he regains control, denying a chance for Hernandez. Valant the other way. Gannon trying to get back within 1 here. Kotsgar. Back towards the middle, trying to turn around, and a whistle. As Murray was coming out of the surface, or actually make that Dylan Shaw. And Farsong has it again. He fires, and it's going to skip out of play. And Dockenhausen holds. Another chance for Gannon, but they can't cash in. They get within one. And Biola trying for a 3-goal lead right here. Lavoie finds Siphon, now back to Lavoie. Lavoie driving, it is denied by Mahalchi. Mahalchi coming up with the 6th save. Back the other way, Lanzidis. And a foul against Biola. An exclusion. So Gannon trying to get back within one. Shot clock turned off. Lanzidis, another shot. Dockenhausen almost had a chance on the rebound. Valant was there in the middle. But Joshua Dockenhausen comes up with another big save. And Dockenhausen, Hernandez with the catch. 1 second, and Hernandez over the crossbar, and time runs out. It's a 2-goal lead for Biola as we move on to the second half. A defensive battle in the first half, and it is a 2-goal lead for the number 2 seed out of the West. Third quarter in this semifinal game. When we come back, you are watching the 2025 WWPA Championship. Biola leads with a championship appearance on the line. 5-3 is the score over Gannon when we come back to start the third. We move along to the final 16 minutes of regulation as the Biola Eagles hold a 5-3 lead over the Gannon Golden Knights. Both teams are going to be switching sides. Biola now attacking right to left and Gannon left to right. A total of 13 shots for Biola, 8 for Gannon, 4 exclusions for the Knights, and 2 for the Eagles. And Biola not being able to capitalize on the power play yet. They've had 3 chances, 1 power play goal for Gannon, and 1 penalty shot for Biola, but they cannot cash in with the stop from Mahauchi. And for Biola, goals for Lavoie, McKenzie, Hernandez, Dembski, and Siphon. And the goals on the other side, Lanzitas with 1, Dylan Shaw with 1. As we move along into the third quarter with a 5-3 lead for Biola. And the other goal to Farshong for Gannon. Gannon starts off with the first possession of the second half. Trying to get back within 1. Farshong into the middle, was trying to feed it off to Markovic, and again, the defensive pressure for Biola. Adam Lavoie applying it, and that is the key reason why Biola is ahead. They have been able to come up with so many defensive stops. And they throw it over, and they score! The one-timer to Hernandez! And Biola strikes first in the third. Gannon still trying to get on the board in this quarter. Zajacic, Farshong, Zajacic again. Controls with the right hand. And that is swatted out of the air. Almost had the intercept Murray. But Gannon resets. Farshong trying to drive towards the net. He has 1 second to shoot and he runs out of time. The Knights. A little too much time. All 30 seconds off the clock. Biola the other way, trying to fire. The pressure by Zajacic as they tried to feed it to McKenzie in front. A defensive stop for Gannon. Lanzitas, now Farshong. Lanzitas again. Farshong receives past the 2-meter. Towards the middle. Trying to turn around, and the swatting, the splashing everywhere. And the pressure is enough by Dockenhausen on Markovic. And Darkenhausen sends it to the far side. And a timeout's going to be called by Jens Cole. There's a 30-second timeout. Nobody went to their benches. Dockenhausen tries to go far side. And Gannon forcing a turnover. They go the other way. It's Kotsgar. Racing on down. Everybody trying to get back. He has Valant with him to his right. Kotsgar going to get over to Valant. He's got it off the one-timer. Kotsgar with the steal, and Victor Valant finishes off the one-timer to get Gannon on the board in the third. A goal back in transition, exactly what the Golden Knights were looking for. But it's still a 2-goal lead for Biola. Dockenhausen finds Siphon. Siphon a whistle away from the play. And Gannon's going to get called for an exclusion. Siphon has it again. Siphon hands it off. Hernandez. Back to the far side, Abrahamian. Back to Hernandez. Hernandez, and he is going to lose the ball. The pressure, the Forsong. And Forsong, he's going to have to give the ball back to Hernandez. Gannon was hopeful they were going to have that chance to get back within one, but possession returns to Biola. Risnar controls with the right hand. McKenzie. Back towards the middle. Risnar again. Trying to get the love over. He sends it too high. And another chance for the Knights to get within one. Farsong up ahead and a foul against Biola as Valant sends it back. Coatsgar blocked! Siphon with the rejection. Dockenhausen finds Siphon. Another big defensive stop for the Eagles. Hernandez. Siphon racing up ahead. 7 seconds to shoot, and a foul away from the play, and Siphon has to give up possession. Another break for Gannon as they try to get a goal to get back within one. Coatsgar at the 6 meter. Into the middle, a whistle, a turnaround, they score! Dylan Shaw off of the feet from Coatsgar, and that is back-to-back for the Knights, and they're within one. Both goals for Gannon in this quarter. Coatsgar setting both of them up. That one there to Shaw and the other one to Valant. Coatsgar getting assists on both of them. And the WWPA first team member responsible for getting the Knights back within one. Dockenhausen. McKenzie. Can Biola respond? McKenzie pumps. Looking to fire. Back towards the middle. A little too forward to Lavoie. Time's going to run out. Maybe 6 seconds to shoot. Lavoie finds McKenzie. 4 seconds into the middle. They turn around trying for a shot. And a lot of pressure in front. Abrahamian was in front. And Gannon's going to get called for an exclusion as they were trying to deny a shot to Abrahamian. McKenzie sending it off past the 2 meter. McKenzie gets it back. McKenzie over the pass from Digby. McKenzie, a short pass, trying to send it off far side. Time's closing down again on the shot clock. As Demski now controls, but will he be able to keep? With 5 seconds on the shot clock and 3:03 on the game clock until we head to the fourth. And a penalty shot's going to be on the way to Digby. One v one with Mahalchi. Digby, he scores! Back to a 2-goal lead for Biola. Caden Digby, the freshman. Michael McGarry, the Erie native. Went to McDowell High School. A 2-goal lead for the Eagles. With Biola playing from in front. They were playing from behind for the majority of their quarterfinal matchup against Salem yesterday. McGarry. Gannon trying to get back within one right here. Farshawn back to McGarry. 10 seconds to shoot. Lanzitas with the pass up ahead. 6 seconds to shoot and a foul on exclusion. And a fresh shot clock for Gannon. McGarry. Past the 2-meter line. Matthew Bordy. Bordy with control again. Sends it off, trying to find the one-timer to Callum Snyder-Mills. And they pull it back. Lanzidis, as he tried to send it home, his time was running out. And Gannon cannot cash in on the power play. And Biola has it back. And a feed in front. Nick Murray 1v1. And he is going to be denied by Mahalchi. And Gannon has it back in transition. Lanzidis trying to fire. He's going to get drawn a foul. Markovic in front and another foul against Biola. Lanzidis trying to let it go. Finds Bordy in front. And Bordy, and possession still with Gannon. With 10 seconds to shoot. And 1:44 remaining in the third. Bordy. Lanzidis. Down low, Markovic, too high. Pitar Markovic, the junior. Member of the honorable mention team, but he sent that one too high. And Biola has it back again, ahead by 2. Siphon. Now Hernandez. Getting double team pressure as Markovic was coming. Lanzidis was on him as well. With some open space for Lavoie. Has all kinds of time, sending a pass and a drive, and another stop from Mahalchi. Hands it off, Bordy. Matthew Bordy, the sophomore out of France. Off into the middle, and a steal. And Biola wanting a foul, and they're going to get it. McKenzie. A cross pass with 40 seconds until we move to the fourth with a 2-goal lead for Biola. Waiting for everybody to get back. Still plenty of time to shoot, 20 seconds. Hernandez off to McKenzie. Hernandez has it again. Trying to drive it towards the net. Sends a pass, it's a one-timer, another stop from Mahalchi. Dembski with the shot. And Mahalchi finds a short Farsong. With 3 seconds to shoot, Farsong, he is going to be splashed everywhere by McKenzie. And time is going to run out as Bordy cannot gain possession. Time was running out anyway. They needed a Hail Mary shot, and it is a 2-goal lead for Biola. 2 goals apiece for both sides as we move to the final 8 minutes of regulation here in Geneva. Well, we talked about Biola trying to go back to the championship match for the first time in 2 years. It was both 1 seeds last year with Concordia and Salem. And Gannon's going to need a come-from-behind victory just like what Biola did yesterday against Salem. Biola was down for the majority of the match, and then they were able to tie it. Noah Reznar got the goal to tie it to make it 14-all, then Kyle Siphon getting the game-winning goal. And there was not a goal in the final 2 minutes. Salem had that chance to tie by that phenomenal stop by Joshua Dockenhausen that sealed it for Biola. As the second seed from the West trying to take down the number 1 seed from the East. That is what Concordia did 2 years ago when they took down Salem in the semifinals. 14-11. That was when Biola took down the second seed from the East, McKendree, by 3, 15-12, to head to the championship. So can Gannon get a come from behind victory, or will Biola be able to hold on and head back to the championship for the first time in 2 years? The last championship to be won by the host school was in 2021 when UC Davis defeated Cal Baptist in the championship. UC Davis would go back-to-back in 2022 when they won the 22 championship at the Burns Center when it was hosted by Loyola Marymount. As both teams jump back in, and will jump towards the ball in the final 8 minutes of regulation. Gannon trying to head to the WWPA championship match for the first time ever, and Biola wants to head back to the championship for the first time in 2 years. And the Eagles hold a 2-goal lead as we move to the fourth. And we begin with the opening sprint. A 2-goal lead for Biola in the final 8 minutes of regulation, and it's going to be won by Gannon and Valant. And Bordy, Zajacic leading it up. Can Gannon get a goal on the first offensive possession of the quarter? Bordy slides it far side. 10 seconds to shoot. Kotsgar with control and a foul against Biola. Kotsgar back towards the middle, turning around, they score! Dylan Shaw! Off of the feed from Kotsgar. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Gannon, as they're back within one. And Dockenhausen, the siphon on the first offensive possession for the Eagles. Siphon holds, trying to hand it off to Abrahamian. Gannon was trying for the turnover, and Siphon, that was Valant, who wanted it back for Gannon, and they are going to get it back after all. Lenzitas down low. And there's Bordy. He leads it up, back towards the middle, trying to feed a chance to Shaw. And they reset. That was actually Kotsgar. Kotsgar has it. He's going to fire it, and that is going to be an easy stop for Dockenhausen. Shaw was being controlled all the way. I think Kotsgar tried to get it back to Shaw. Gannon cannot tie it there. Abrahamian. Digby. Towards the middle. Turnaround. They score. Gavin McKenzie. Oh, no, that is actually Nick Murray. Number 18. The main center all tournament long for the Eagles. And as a result, they're back ahead by 2, and Murray will leave the pool for now. Biola getting it back, ahead by 1, and they convert with the goal to Nick Murray. Farshong. Zajacic. A lot of pressure by Dakash. And the shot, and it is going to be denied by Dockenhausen. Kotsgar tried to drive it through. The sensei went off Dockenhausen. Gannon's going to keep possession. This game being decided in regulation in 6 minutes. There's Kotsgar again. Kotsgar sending it off. Shaw trying to turn around. He had a lot of pressure by Lavoie. And it's going to be a foul, and Shaw handing it off so Gannon can reset. Shaw trying for the one-timer. What a stop. Oh, rebound. Shaw has it. Oh, Dylan Shaw sending it past Dockenhausen on the rebound. What a goal for Dylan Shaw. Getting it on the rebound to get Gannon back within one. Lavoie. To Cash. And it's picked off. Mahauchi. And the Knights with a chance to tie. Mahauchi sending it in the traffic. Farsong it to the middle, tried to feed the one-timer. That's in by Valant, but it's not going to count. Taking the shot past the 2-meter line. And Dockenhausen hands it off to Siphon. Pushing it ahead. Hernandez wide open. He scores. Caleb Hernandez. Gannon trying to close on down, but it was too late. And Biola is back ahead by 2. Michael McGarry coming back in for Gannon. And a sub swimming on in for Biola. It's Nick Murray. He checks back in. Abrahamian also in as well for Biola. McGarry. 5 minutes remaining. Gannon down by 2 again. And they have control of the ball. McGarry, Coachgar. McGarry has some open chlorine around him. At the 5-meter, trying to turn around off of the post. Markovic trying for the turnaround shot, but he can't cash in. And Biola has it back ahead by 2. Towards the middle, and Gannon swarming, and they get control again as Nick Murray. He had pressure in his face by McGarry, but Biola trying for that chance back in transition. Valant in front. Sends it back to Farsong. Valant gets pushed to the corner. Now Farsong. Gannon needs a goal here to try to get back within 1. Farsong fires, and it is denied by Dockenhausen. But because it went off Dockenhausen's right hand, Gannon keeps. McGarry. The coat scar. McGarry again, the Erie native. And towards the middle, Markovic trying for the turnaround shot, and there's going to be a foul towards Lavoie. Gannon keeps, they fire, and it is denied by Dockenhausen on Markovic. And Jens Cole is going to call a timeout. Nine saves for Dockenhausen. And a timeout called at the halfway point of the 4th. There was a full timeout called against Jens Cole. So Gannon still has some time, only a 2-goal deficit. We'll have to wait and see how Biola is going to play this. If they want to try to keep the attacks going, or with how their defense has been playing, if they want to try to play it a little more conservative. And maybe trying to use the shot clock to their advantage and try to run down the game clock. And with how Biola has played defensively, see if that might be the way to go, or will they try to get on another attack? We'll just have to wait and see. And for Gannon, they know that in order to keep their championship hopes alive, they need stops. Down by 2. And the loser of this game will not have their season end yet. They're playing the 3rd place game tomorrow, the game that both of these teams were in last year. The game that Biola won 14-12. Biola, their women's team, losing in the championship match to McKendree in Morgantown earlier this year. And the men's team possibly trying to get a dynasty going. Winning their first WWPA championship 2 years ago. And they are 4 minutes away from heading back to the championship match as they hold a 2-goal lead with 4:02 left. And they have control of the ball. So will they try to use the shot clock to their advantage, or will they try to get on another attack? But regardless, they have the same goal in mind, making this a 3-goal game. Stockenhausen finds Digby off the timeout. Digby waits. And the pass to Lavoie. Hernandez, near side. Pressure by Kotscar. He skips it back to Lavoie. Actually, that pressure was put on by Valant. Lavoie, 5 seconds to shoot. They are going to try to use the clock to their advantage, and they convert a goal. It is McKenzie. 10-7 Biola. So for Gannon, if they want to keep their championship hopes alive, they need to go right here. Valant. It's going to be picked up by McGarry. Valant again. Valant trying to find Shaw in the middle. Pressure by Lavoie. It's going to be sent back to McGarry. Shaw fires a stop. Stockenhausen again. Stockenhausen with the monster stop on Dylan Shaw. And McKenzie, he's going to take his grand old time. A 3-goal lead for Biola. Hernandez, 8 seconds to shoot. Hernandez moving the ball around off the crossbar, and it's going to be picked up by Farsong, who sends it off quickly. And Gannon. They lead it back, Farsong. Past the midline. And Farsong. 10 seconds to shoot, with 2:25 remaining in the fourth. Towards the middle, and a whistle as Shaw was the target. An exclusion against Biola. And I believe a timeout was called by Zarko Sadakovic. It was, with 2:17 remaining in the fourth. Concordia and Fresno Pacific will be up next. Concordia is warming up in the pool right next to us. Or just outside of the pool right next to us. There's another pool here at the Geneva Aquatic Center. .217 remaining in this one, and then we'll move along to semifinal contest number 2. And for Gannon, their championship hopes on the line with this offensive possession right here. They try to fight their way back down by 3, and for Gannon, they want to come back. I think they're maybe trying to eye overtime, and for Biola, all they want to do is get some stops. Joshua Stockenhausen has played unbelievable all tournament long. He has come up with 10 saves in this game, including denying chances for Gannon as they try to make a comeback. For Gannon, they want to hope that it's not a little too late. Timeout called, Zarko Sadakovic calling the full timeout. Gannon has 1 left, Biola with 2. Can Biola take down the host school for this year's tournament? .10-7. With the fellas from La Mirada, California in front. Coach car. Back out Farsong. Back to Coach car. Coach car. Will he shoot in the traffic? He does! He scores! We're not done yet. Alexandros Coach car makes it 10-8. Biola has control again. If they decide to use the shot clock, they could take it down to about 1 minute and 35 seconds. Stockenhausen awaits to send the ball to the surface. Under 2 minutes to play. A 2-goal lead for the Eagles. Abrahami and a lot of pressure by Lazaris. Another whistle. And a foul against Gannon as Markovic was racing on back thinking that it was against the Eagles. Hernandez stops at the 2-meter. Back towards the middle. Abrahamian. Now far side. Abrahamian has it at the 5-meter. Sending it off Hernandez. Looks to shoot, he sends a pass instead. Back towards the middle. McKenzie. Hernandez. He fires off of the crossbar. It's going to pop into the air, and Gannon has possession with an opportunity to get back within one with 1:23 left. Mahauchi sends it off into the middle. A one-timer. Oh! Kotsgar cannot send it home. Well, that was actually Valant. He could not get the pass cleanly. But Gannon gets a lucky break because they still have control. A minute 13 remaining. And Dockenhausen in the situation he was in yesterday, needing to come up with that one key stop. And can he do it here? And Gannon also on the power play with 9 seconds on exclusion. That went against Siphon. This play is stopped with a minute 13 remaining. If Biola can get this stop here, then they will be in complete control of running out the clock on this game and heading to the final. They will play the winner of Concordia and Fresno Pacific, which will be coming up next. A defensive game, to say the least. Only 18 goals scored in this one. Biola. Can they come up with a defensive stop, or can Gannon come within one? Zajacic. And a foul that's drawn by Kotsgar. Kotsgar looking to fire. Finds Farsong. Farsong holds, fakes, sends it back. Oh, there's Farsong there. Zajacic. Farsong lets it go. He scores! Ramon Farsong, Gannon back within one. And a timeout is going to be called by Jens Cole. That was Lenzetis, who had that pass to Farsong. And the sophomore out of Hungary gets Gannon within one with 55 seconds. And a timeout was called by Jens Cole for the Eagles. Gannon knowing that they needed a goal there. And Farsong provides it. 2 goals for Farshaw. As we have another look at the goal. It was set up by Lanzitas. And Zarko Sadakovic also, he has 1 more timeout. Jens Cole has another. So assuming if Gannon gets a stop, seems there's a good chance that Zarko Sadakovic is going to use that final timeout. So it all comes down to this. 55 seconds in the 4th. Biola has control, ahead by 1. Can Biola go back ahead by 2, or can Gannon get a stop with a chance to tie it? Lavoie the start. Sends it far side, Abrahamian. Back down low. Abrahamian again, back to Lavoie. He waits. Now Siphon has control again. Lavoie. Back over, fires, they score! Isaac Dembski! Dembski with the goal to get Biola back ahead by 2. So for Gannon, they need a miracle. They're going to need to get a quick goal right here. And they're going to need to stop right away. And Biola, all they want to do is hold on defensively, something that they have done. Their defense has played lights out all game long. As Mahauchi, he might take the shot here. He does not. Valant pulls it back. Mahauchi again. Mahauchi looking to fire. Farshaw. 20 seconds left. And Kotsgar off the post! Kotsgar cannot cash in, and that might do it. Hernandez is going to race it up. Isaac Dembski with the goal to seal it, and Biola goes back to the final. (11-9) the final. The Biola Eagles take down the #1 team from the East. And Biola heads back to the championship match for the first time in 2 years. Joshua Dockenhausen, 11 saves. And the goal to seal it by Dembski. Dembski getting the goal to start this match. And he gets the final one. And the Biola Eagles are off to the championship match. And we know it is going to be an all-Western matchup in the final. Jens Cole will come up here to chat with us on the WWPA Sports Network. And Gannon will move now to the third place game. That's the #1 seed from the East and also the host school. Will not play in the championship tomorrow. So the streak is going to continue. We'll go to 5 years next year with the host school failing to win the championship. as the Biola Eagles take down the #1 seed from the East as they punch their ticket to the final. What a job by Jens Cole and his crew. And Joshua Dockenhausen coming up with all those saves. And that goal by Isaac Dembski to seal it. Gannon would have had a chance to tie it if they would have got a stop. But Isaac Dembski sealing it for Biola. As both teams will exchange in a prayer. Biola will punch their ticket on the big board, and Jens Cole will come up to talk to us here as the Biola Eagles. And he mentioned yesterday, Rick Nordell setting the foundation. He was with Biola in the women's tournament in Morgantown. I had a chance to talk to Rick Nordell a few times in Morgantown, and he set the foundation, winning the championship in 2023, and now it's Jens Cole's turn to try to give WWPA title #2 for the Biola Eagles. And they will face the winner of the Fresno Pacific Concordia game. Biola defeating Concordia this year on October 8th, 10-9. Concordia defeating them, though, in their second matchup of the season, 14-9. And for Fresno Pacific, Biola with a victory against the Sunbirds, 8-6 on October 17th. And then they lost to them 11-6. As Biola, they punched their ticket to the final for the first time in 2 years. So we will step aside here on the WWPA Sports Network, and Jens Cole will come up to talk to us once again. An 11-9 final as the Biola Eagles are off to the championship match for the first time since 2023. Jens Cole will come up to talk to us when we come back on the WWPA Sports Network. And we are back here from the SPIRE Aquatic Center in Geneva, Ohio, here with Biola coach Jens Cole as the Biola Eagles are off to the WWPA Championship match for the first time in 2 years. So, Jens, congratulations. We first have to start off with the game that your defense played. Talk about all of the defensive stops you guys were able to get, especially in the first half, as your defense really played lights out to deny a lot of scoring chances for Gannon.
Yeah, well, first off, a lot of the glory, all the glory goes to God and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I think, we really lean on doing the small stuff in our defense. We talk about playing kind of selfless on defense, and even though you might not appear on a stat sheet, even though you might not get the glory of the moment, then it all adds to the win. So I think there was a lot of guys who were covering, multiple positions, multiple areas. We knew we were going to have to, play the best defense against number 9 and number 10. There's two great offensive players, and again, just kind of force guys who we were okay with, stepping in and shooting the ball. Our goalie's playing awesome, so we're kind of leaning on him. And other than that, it was just team defense from the jump.
And when Isaac got that goal to seal it for you guys, what did you say to your team off of that timeout as you guys were trying to get that goal to seal it, and obviously Dembski finished it?
Yeah, our Creator made nature, and what we've been talking about is there's predators and there's prey. And I think sometimes when you're chasing, it's a little bit easier than being chased. So I think, we took the mindset of, we're the underdog. So whether we're up by 2 or 3, we're going to have the mentality that we're down by 2 or 3 and just kind of put, the pedal to the metal and be the predator and be the guy that's chasing the entire game. So I thought the guys did a good job not getting too rattled, even with the little run that Gannon had there at the stretch, and stayed confident and, sealed the deal at the end. And
Dockenhausen played lights out again, 11 saves for your keeper. He has played absolutely lights out all tournament, especially coming up in those clutch scenarios. So what do you have to say about the job that Dockenhausen did in net again?
Yeah, I just think, Doc is an extremely process-oriented individual. He does not really get too high or too low. He's a very emotionally regulated young man, extremely smart, and I think he plays with that level of just composure and maturity that allows him to see the game really easily. Rather than getting too rattled, too worked up, he can just focus and kind of stay calm. And yeah, he's playing really well, so we're going to keep on kind of turning to him.
So it's going to be either Concordia or Fresno Pacific, division foes, and two teams that you have won against and also have lost against this year. So what do you think are some of the challenges that both Concordia and Fresno Pacific are going to bring tomorrow, knowing you're going to be playing one of those two teams?
Yeah, I know both teams are really well coached. Immense amount of respect for Justin and John. I think they do a great job with both their squads. So they're both two really good sides. They have a lot of chemistry amongst each other. Guys have been playing with a long time, connection and bond. And so I think both groups just play really well together. And two very different teams, but excited to see kind of who comes out victorious, and just again, hoping for just a good game.
Jens, thank you so much, sir. Congratulations, as the Biola Eagles are off to the WWPA Championship match for the first time since 2023. We're going to take a little break here on the WWPA Sports Network. Fresno Pacific and Concordia are coming up next to see who will face Biola for the championship tomorrow, as the Eagles take down Gannon 11-9, and they are back to the championship match for the first time in 2 years.